Against the Ropes podcast.
Contra las cuerdas.
Against the Ropes podcast.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. AtR podcast. Gio Garcia here alongside Christian Mosqueda. 270 heavyweights. We're back again. A lot of action, a lot of heavyweight action last weekend.
That's an understatement, Gio. I mean, 5-on-5. I don't think anybody predicted what we were gonna get, but yeah, man, crazy month of action following May, and let's get started, boy. What do you want to talk about?
Well, we had a big card, obviously, last Saturday, Saudi Arabia, the new Mecca of boxing. We'll see. We'll get into that. But shout out to Big Turkey. But of course, we had that 5-on-5, Queensberry versus Matchroom, and then we also had Bivol fighting against who? I don't even know. Nobody knows, right? But he got a victory. But let's begin with the 5-on-5, man. Sweep at the end of the day for Warren over your boy Hearns. 5-0, Chris, and most of the fights weren't even close. Obviously, the main event, the headliner, you see it on your screens there. Big Bang, brutally stopping the Bronze Bomber Deontay Wilder, possibly his last fight. But let's go ahead and pull up the that card for you guys. Let's go with the undercard first, and then we'll get into that main event. As you see it there, let's start with Daniel Dubois, man. I think he deserves it. Big comeback for him. He stopped Filip Hrgović, who defeated Big Bang, right? He was on a roll, the Croatian, and Dubois, I don't want to say made it look easy, but I mean, he got that victory, and he's looking good.
Yeah, when the first few rounds, man, not gonna lie, I thought Hrgović was gonna break him down. He was boxing nice. I felt like Dubois was just a little too, he was too excited in there, like trying to reach. But like you said, Joe, he found a way to win. A lot of people felt like he won his last go bout with Usyk, and then he follows it with this kind of performance. Biggest win to date, man. Again, props to Dubois. Took down the mountain that is Hrgović. And yeah, man, he's on to bigger and better things.
Yeah, that loss to Usyk in August of 2023. Before that, his lone defeat was against Joe Joyce. That was in 2020. So, obviously he's coming off that victory against Gerald Miller, Big Baby, in December. Follows up now against Ergovich, and he's set to get a big fight, man. Him and Big Bang. They're making noise now. Dubois, 21 wins, 20 KOs. Like we said, those 2 losses, Usyk and Joyce. But he looked good in this one, and like I said, convincing win for Queensberry.
Yeah, again, there was a moment where I got away from the fight. I had to do some things. I saw him losing the first rounds, Gio, and then I, pop open my phone. I see the update, and I see that Dubois, finished off the Giant. I was like, man, that's a statement right there. That's a win. What were your thoughts, Gio, when you saw him get that knockout?
I think it was a bit surprising. I think that fight was supposed to be 50-50. But Dubois pulled it off, and I think the biggest surprise was that Hearn got 0 wins. As Adi says, I'm sad Hearn lost. He was going to use that $3 million Frank Warren won to pay Ennis, he says. Well, he's got to find the funds elsewhere, man, because obviously he took the loss all night long. We'll keep it moving, Chris. I don't want to spend too much time on this. We can go into Bivol, man, because look, he fought this guy named Malik Zinad, who was undefeated, but unknown. Nobody knew this guy. Didn't look good at all. I mean, I don't know. Waste of time to me. Waste of time. I guess Bivol stays active, but I don't think this helps him at all. Obviously, he was supposed to fight Beterbiev. That was supposed to be the headliner in this card. Beterbiev injured. They have now announced the fight for October 12th between the two. That's an undisputed bout, but to me, a waste of time for Bivol fighting once again these guys. We want to see him fight the top guys. I don't think this does anything for him other than, his last knockout, they said, was in 2018, Chris. 6 years. I mean, but I think we expected him to stop this guy.
Yeah, I think the only takeaway is poor Sinad. I mean, he got a 100% powered up Bivol, a Bivol that was preparing for the biggest, hardest test of his career. And it's like this guy was armored, he was powered up, and you saw what he did there to his opponent. So that's my only takeaway. That's how good Bivol can look when he's, preparing for the biggest fight of his life. And I'm just glad that this fight got rescheduled and we're gonna get it, because when fights are postponed, you never know.
Yeah, and Bivol has fought many bad opponents in his career. This guy is one of them. Big Turkey said he was going to bring him back, but come on, man. Look, at the end of the day, I think they were smart about it. They announced the fight with Beterbiev. I think that's what this fight served for. They knew Bivol was going to win. And now we got October 12th against Beterbiev. So that's great news. Another undisputed bout. Of course, we got to talk Usyk Fury, the rematch that was also announced recently. We'll talk about that. But a lot of these undisputed matches, and I think in today's climate, it's very interesting because I think the only undisputed champion right now is probably Inoue, right? Everybody's getting stripped left and right. They were going to strip Usyk as soon as he stepped off that ring, it seems like. So this whole undisputed thing is getting a little confusing. But at the end of the day, we want to see the best fight the best. And, it seems like we're going to get that with Bivol and Beterbiev, and then also with Usyk and Fury fighting once again. But takeaway from this, I guess, congrats to Bivol for finally getting a KO, finally getting a stoppage. And now October for Beterbiev. Let's see if Beterbiev is actually healthy, though, because it was a knee injury, if I remember correctly. So, man, those are tough. He's 39 years old. I'm sure it's going to take him a few months to recover, a few months of not training, being inactive. So, hopefully he's healthy for that fight. I think that injury makes the fight a little closer. Before the injury, my prediction was that Beterbiev would stop Bivol. I think the playing field is a little more even now with that injury, with the age of Beterbiev. This is best case scenario for Bivol, in my opinion.
Of course, we always want to see fighters at their best. With this injury, with the age, what percentage do you favor one over the other?
I think I still have to favor Beterbiev, but it's probably closer. It's probably like 55-45 now. I just don't think Bivol would be able to withstand that power. Anybody that Beterbiev touches, they're out. They're out of there. We've seen Bivol hurt in the past. So I just didn't think he would make it out 12 rounds alive, Bivol. But I think that this, like I said, gives him a little bit more of a chance. He doesn't have the power to bother Beterbiev, in my opinion. Like we said, first stoppage in 6 years. Terrible for an elite fighter. But I think the injury, the inactivity of Beterbiev, the age is going to make things a little more interesting. Does your opinion change at all?
Just slightly, just like you, maybe 53-47 still favor of Beterbiev. If anything, I think this is the one time where he doesn't get a knockout, because of the injury. But we'll see. Time will tell.
Yeah, let's keep it moving. But that was a big announcement. Turkey doing things right, like we said. We're gonna keep praising them all podcast long. Shout out to Big Turk. But let's keep it moving. Let's continue with this card. As we said, it was 5-0. Hamza Shiraz, he actually stopped Austin Williams. Austin Williams, very undersized in this fight. I mean, that was a terrible matchup since I saw this fight. It was at middleweight. Man, what was Eddie Hearns thinking, Chris? I mean, a lot of these matches weren't the smartest.
Yeah, Williams is a good fighter, good technical skills, but like you said, he was undersized. I think, when you keep fighters in house for that long, you start to think that they can't be beat. And, obviously a wake-up call for Eddie Hearn, like you said, bad matchmaking. Williams should not have been in there with that guy, and loses it though. And hey, again, it's gonna affect him a little bit down the stretch. He's still young, but yeah, definitely bad matchmaking on Eddie Hearn's part.
Yeah, and look, the good thing about this 5-on-5 is on paper, all fights are supposed to be 50-50, right? Because neither promoter is trying to lose, especially these guys who had that beef, that rivalry. Now, I'm surprised they were even sitting next to each other and doing interviews together and posting videos with each other. But, on paper, these fights are supposed to be 50-50. Both promoters are trying to send their best, trying to make good matchups. So I know Golden Boy was flirting with a 5-on-5 versus Top Rank. I think is a very good idea. As I said, the fights are supposed to be even. So I think as boxing fans, many times we don't get those type of cards. We'll talk about Don King in a second, Chris, because he's putting up a card, this Friday, I believe it is. But I like the idea. So once again, big shout out to Turk. Eddie Hearn just looking bad in this one. He said he wants the rematch, so I'm sure he'll want to run it back, and we'll get some more interesting fights.
Man, and Gio, when you lose 3 fights, where do you hide your head at that point, man? Or how desperate does it get? With your remaining fighters, which we'll talk about. But at that point, what do you do, man? If you're Eddie Hearn, you're down three fights.
I'm sure he was praying that Deontay was going to get a knockout or something in that last fight, but he looked terrible. Let's skip right to that, man, because look, the other fight, Raymond Ford split decision loss versus Nick Ball. That one looked close. I had it on. I wasn't paying much attention to it. Hutchinson and Richards didn't watch that one at all. But let's go straight until this fight right here. Deontay Wilder now. Here, let me put it up on your screens for you guys. Deontay Wilder is now 43-4. Of course, he took those couple losses to Fury. Should have taken that L in that first one too. Shout out to that terrible judge. Sorry, Alejandro Rochin. Probably worst scorecard ever. Scoring at 115 for Deontay Wilder in that first fight against Fury. Crazy. But look, on paper, he has 4 losses. Those 2 against Fury and now he has lost his last 2 fights. Joseph Parker didn't win a round, and now getting stopped brutally by a big bang. Deontay Wilder has now lost 4 out of his last 5 fights. He's basically fighting once a year. He's 38 years old. Doesn't look good for him, Chris. That switch of trainers doesn't seem to be a good fit. It looks worse. I mean, just when you thought he couldn't get worse, that power can't even save him now, Chris. I don't know what your thoughts were on this. I thought he was gonna at least scare Big Bang a little bit, but easy fight for Zile.
Yeah, like most people, everybody felt like he still had that, that one trick that he has, which is one of the best tricks in all of boxing, but it's no longer there, Gio. Like you said, Zile Zhang just took the Tyson Fury 2 blueprint and just took it to him. Didn't let Deontay, get close to landing that shot. Deontay, kind of landed it, but it doesn't have the same pop. The way the way they said that Oscar lost his pop against Oscar lost against his pop against Manny Pacquiao. It was a bit of the same thing, man. Deontay no longer has the power. We saw it up to the fight. We know that the story was the legs. The power comes from the legs, and it seems like it's over for Deontay. But yeah, it was all Zile Zhang, and that was a hellacious knockout by a man from China.
Big Bro says, Ammo Williams is like Deontay Wilder, no real skills, just some power and athleticism. Was outclassed most of the fight. And look at Wilder, man, sleeping on the job. Wake up, buddy. Man, this guy turned around, got punched. He complained to the ref, not sure why. I don't know if you guys remember, but he actually did that against Fury a couple times. And a couple of those knockdowns, he would get hit and look at the ref and complain. I don't know if that's just a habit. We know Usyk has a habit of complaining about low blows even when the shots are clean. Deontay's habit is boom, you get rocked, you complain to the ref. This guy turned around, Big Bang followed him and put him out, man. Hey, look, one thing that you have to say about Wilder is he has a ton of heart and he has a pretty good chin. I mean, he actually got up, and walked toward the ref, but the ref saw something that he didn't like and saved him, just like Wilder's old trainers saved him against Fury. You guys remember he was very, very mad at that, very furious, fired his coach, and now, as we said, the switch, not good for him. Just imagine if he hadn't been saved in that fight. He would have probably been done, after those Fury fights. But, he got a couple more paydays. I think this should be it for him. He's not getting that AJ fight. AJ would have knocked him out even worse. He could have got like an Ngannou fight or something. But now I don't think the public wants to see those fights anymore, man. I know I don't. I think Wilder gets stopped against any of the top 10 heavyweights at this point. Sad ending, but it's a guy who never really had the skill, had out of this world type power that bailed him out 99% of the time. Just seems like he's taking one too many beatings. 38 years old. It might be time to wrap it up, man.
Yeah, it almost felt, Gio, when people saw him get knocked out. Again, it was a huge knockout. Like you said, he was on unsteady legs. The ref, maybe saw his eyes gone and called it off. We didn't get the ref's vantage point, but yeah, he saw something that made him say that's enough. Normally, when it comes to these kinds of fights, Gio, we hear the fighters say, "Yeah, it's a wonderful career. It's over." Were you a little surprised that Deontay didn't say that?
Yeah, he had been talking about retirement already before the fight. Usually that's the sign. But he's still a quote unquote big name. I'm sure he got paid well. So I personally think, let me show you guys the poll. The poll asked whether Wilder should retire. Do you think he'll retire after getting stopped by Zile? First option was yes, he needs to, 85%. And then 15% no, he'll give it another go. I think he might give it another go, Chris. He's that stubborn. Let's not forget he kept getting beat up by Tyson Fury, and he wanted more and more, and he even wanted a fourth fight. So uh, he's proven to be very, very, very stubborn. I think he might get another payday or two, but yeah, if I were him, I would just retire and live happily ever after, enjoy all the money that he made in boxing. I personally wouldn't want to see him again. And this was a bad beating against a 41-year-old Chris who didn't necessarily look impressive in his last fight, Big Bang, against Joseph Parker. But now his name is back in the mix, man. They're talking Anthony Joshua. Even that Dubois fight, I think, is that matchup is interesting. You know, Big Bang, I think, bought himself another big payday.
Yeah, I agree. I think you picked the perfect word, stubborn. Deontay Wilder in those defeats, which was 3, if you want to be real, those 3 defeats to Tyson Fury, he always had excuses. He, always said, something happened. There was always a reason why, he didn't, win those fights. He did have that big win against Alanius, which, gave him some oxygen, to get these latter fights, Gio, but he hasn't been impressive since. Like you said, he has a big name. Like you said, Turkey's in the mix. Lots of money, lots of millions out in Saudi Arabia. A guy like Deontay Wilder, he's not gonna want to walk away from, from those that bag. But yeah, there's nothing left, in my opinion. Nothing that even gets people excited. If he would have knocked down Zhang once and then he gets knocked out, you're like, okay, there's still something there. But there was virtually nothing, from Deontay Wilder. So I agree. I think he's going to be a stubborn guy. He's going to want to get another fight against a guy like Big Baby. But I think his time is up.
Yeah, and look, this is Deontay Wilder. Like, it's not like he's showing less skill. This is how he always fought. The only difference was he fought with a little bit before he fought with a little bit more confidence. It didn't matter if he was losing every round. As soon as he threw that right, everybody, was at the edge of their seat, because knowing that if that right landed, that was probably the end of the fight, in his favor. Nowadays he doesn't throw the right. Any flush punch that lands on him, he seems to get hurt. I mean, this was a brutal stoppage, Chris. I think this is going to be up there for me as a candidate for knockout of the year. Obviously, like I said, he was able to get up somehow. Not sure how, man. Respect to his chin and his heart, but that was brutal. I mean, the way he fell, the way he just looked so shocked after that first punch. He looked at the ref for some reason, turned around. Big Bang came after him and gave him another big bang. And once again, Wilder looked shocked while he was on the canvas, and definitely the right stoppage by the referee, but Wilder does not look good, man. He does not look good. His legs seem to be getting skinnier and skinnier. His chin is just not holding up. There's nothing coming from his corner. No type of strategy, no type of advice. It's kind of a sad ending to his career, man.
If Deontay were to retire today, Gio, what would you remember of his career, his legacy of Deontay Wilder?
Obviously, the knockouts. I'm not a big fan of Wilder. I cringe every time he speaks. I just don't see much skill there. But hey, as most of the analysts were saying, he overachieved. Like we said, we showed the record there. I think only one of his wins was by decision, and all the other ones were KOs. There you have it. 43 wins, 42 knockouts. I mean, impressive. The biggest puncher of our era. That's what you got to remember him for. But my personal biggest memories of Wilder are the funny excuses, man. They spiked my water. my suit was too heavy. This guy had stuff in his gloves. I mean, I think that's my biggest memory. But like I said, I'm not the biggest Wilder fan, so I'm probably not the best person to ask.
Yeah, for me, I was also not the biggest fan of Deontay, but I want to say I respected what he did in the sport. He was the guy that got he was the guy that got Tyson Fury out of retirement when Fury was 300 plus pounds and spiraling down a dark path. He was that guy, and I do remember the knockouts. He's the guy that kept knocking guys out. Sure, he was the guy that once he hit the elite level, he came up short. And like you said, Gio, those excuses, they didn't do him any favors. So that's unfortunate for a guy like Deontay Wilder, who, in my opinion, kind of sparked the heavyweight division along with Anthony Joshua and Tyson Fury. But yeah, man, I hope he's able to hang him up. Or if he does get one fight, take a break 3-4 years and have one more go and go out with the knockout against lesser opposition. But I would hate to remember him in these last years, getting knocked out, making excuses, and not being the guy that was doing all the knockouts early on in his career.
Yeah, man, go give Helenius a rematch. Go get another knockout, But let's go to some comments here real quick. Big Bro says if he don't retire, he's asking to be stretchered off the ring. Adi says I'd like to see Deontay Wilder in a ballet dance-off against Richard Torres Jr. He said he did that pirouette. Again, saying Big Bro saying he was just trying that Ukrainian ballet dance that Loma and Usyk do. Yeah, there was a lot of jokes that came with that knockout. I mean, I don't know if I've ever seen anything like that, Chris. Get punched and then he literally just spun around and was lost. That was pretty brutal. Big Bro says he will be remembered for turning down $100 million DAZN offer to fight AJ. Yeah, that was. I mean, Chris, there's always with these big fights a lot of back and forths of, oh, this guy didn't want to fight that guy, this guy didn't want to sign. In some cases, there's scenarios like this where things just don't make sense. $100 million to fight Anthony Joshua. I'm sure Al Heyman would have been like, go do it, man, get paid. I'm just still scratching my head why he didn't take that. This was AJ and Wilder probably at their best. They could have got those fights on. I'm sure they would have made even more money, with sponsorships maybe. I think that was a 2-fight deal, if I remember correctly. They could have made a third fight, if anything. He got 3 fights versus Fury, so yeah, that's wild. Didn't Broner turn down a 40, right? With Rock Nation or something. He turned that down, and Broner is out here struggling, now fighting on Don King cards. We'll get into that next, Chris. But last thoughts on Deontay Wilder, 4th loss of his career. I think most people think he should retire. Will he? We'll see. But I mean, brutal by Big Bang, and I'm sure he's gonna get a big fight.
Yeah, my final thoughts is it's time to hang him up, champ. There was a time where he had guys like Stavern, folded like a chair against the ropes, and now he's that guy. And it's time to hang up. Like you said, Gio, he made more than enough money. I don't think he has to dwell on the money that he lost. Just think about the money that you did make and enjoy it. We do know he has a lot of kids, a big family. Hey, it's time to think about that, man. Plenty of money made. Don't look back. Retire.
Yeah, and let me just highlight Big Bang because he only made his debut 10 years ago, 2014. You see it there, August. He was 31, Chris. He's gotten big fights as of recent. Let's see when were the first, you could say, I guess Hergovich, but he got 2 Joe Joyce fights. Won those. He got the Joseph Parker fight, lost a majority decision, and now Deontay Wilder. Now he's gonna get one of the top dogs, I'm sure. So, I mean, what a story. 41 years old, Big Bang. Obviously he has that Chinese fan base. I remember Bob Arum was really pushing for Big Bang to become that next star, but hey, he's going to get I'm sure his last big payday at 41, 42. I don't know how much longer he's going to keep fighting for, but looked pretty good in this fight, I would say. We'll see what's next for Big Bang, Chris, but let's go ahead and get into that fight that we mentioned. AB, we mentioned Don King, the GOAT. Blair Cobbs, woo! Shout out to Blair Cobbs, friend of the show. He's been on a podcast a few times. You've interviewed him a few times in person. AB against Blair Cobbs. Don King still out here promoting. I think I'm a little disappointed by the promotional side, Chris. I thought I was going to hear more, see more. But, obviously Don King is not on that big stage that he was back in the days. It's not that grand on the scales, but it's still a fight. I don't even know how to watch it, Chris. I'm gonna Google it right now, but I'm sure it's like pay-per-view or something. But AB Blair Cobbs Friday, Chris.
Yeah, let me just say, like you said, he's Blair Cobbs, the friend of the show. He would message me like, months and months ago, like, hey, I'm trying to get this fight with AB. Not sure if he's gonna bite, but like that's a fight that makes sense. So it's kind of cool to see that AB he bit and this fight's getting made. Like you said, Gio, it's not getting the same love. Don King, as a legend as he is, he's not he's not in his prime. Doesn't have the same resources, connections that he once had. Same thing goes with AB. Still a character, still very funny, still very entertaining. But he's his fall from grace, from his potential, is a reason why this fight's not getting as much love as it should. It's still a very very fun fight. All guys characters all across the board. You saw a little bit of the press conference with Blair Cobbs bringing a puppet, to clown the clowner in AB. So it's fun all around. I gotta ask you, Gio, who do you favor in this fight? There's a guy that's in his prime, more athletic, but then there's a guy that he's got the skills, didn't live up to his potential. So my question is, who do you favor in this fight?
I'm going with Blair the Flair Cobbs, man. I'm going with Blair. AB, when was the last time he fought? He fought 2023 last summer against Bill Hutchinson. I think a lot of people were complaining about this fight, this decision, but look at before that. Giovanni Santiago in 2021. He didn't fight in 2022. Didn't fight in 2020. Here, let me pull it up for you guys. Inactivity. I mean, if you look at the Marcos Maidana fight and that Paulie Malignaggi fight, probably two of his most memorable fights. 2013, Chris, 11 years ago. All right, Sean Porter in 2015, Mikey Garcia 2017, Jesse Vargas 2018, Pacquiao 2019. I mean, it's been a long time since AB has been relevant like that. And on the other end, Blair Cobbs, 16-1-1. He defeated Maurice Hooker in 2022. Didn't fight last year, surprisingly. And then he got stopped against Alexis Rocha. So I think this is a big moment for Cobbs. I think he has to win. I think this is a must win for him, and I think he'll pull it off, man. Due to AB's inactivity, indiscipline. Where's that coming from?
But I chose
Is that coming from me?
Their online healthcare degrees are.
And we started talking over here, but yeah, I'm gonna go with Blair Cobbs, younger, a little bigger. I think he's gonna be more fresh, and I think he's just gonna be more hungry than AB. But we'll see.
Yeah, AB is 34 years old, like you said, Gio. Inactivity, even when he was fighting those last names that you mentioned, respectable names, guys like Manny Pacquiao, he just never let his hands go. It's like he got gun shy. Of course, the Maidana fight is the one fight that pretty much changed the trajectory of his career. I want to say he was never the same after that beat down. So yeah, again, Adrian Broner's very entertaining, funny dude. Just like Rolly Romero, just entertaining outside of that squared circle. So he's good for boxing. I just don't think that his activity is there at 34 years of age. I don't see it happening. If he does, I would be shocked. It would be the biggest comeback of 2024 in my opinion, outside of Ryan Garcia's you know big show. But yeah, I just think Blair Cobb again is too young, too active. May not be as skilled as Adrian Broner, but he's just the busier fighter. So got to go with our boy Blair Cobbs.
Yeah, Adi, I believe, was he was asking how much are they gonna make? Was it Adi? How much are they getting paid for this fight? Someone said Don King just throwing a pizza party. Oh, that's funny.
Oh man!
But look, it says on this one at least, it says 1 million to 1.5. Let's see what other sources say.
Okay, it's gonna be their biggest payday. At least Blair Cobb's the biggest payday. Gio, I don't know how much AB made. I want to guess with the names like Pacquiao, even guys like Jesse Vargas, Mikey. Those are big respectable names with fan bases on the part of Manny and the part of Mikey. So yeah, it can't be. I would have to say AB is doubling what Blair is doing, but either way, it's gonna be Blair's biggest payday.
Yeah, I don't see a reliable source here that states it, but I mean, if AB is getting a milli, he should be happy, which is crazy because I think Broner could have had so many big fights still on the table. I think the inactivity, he's obviously cited like different issues as to why he's not fighting, but so many big fights, Chris. I mean, he got a Manny Pacquiao fight. He got a Mikey Garcia fight, even after the losses. So I think a lot of money he left on the table, and he's getting milli. Hopefully, and we'll see how much longer he fights for. Not sure that he wins this fight. Not sure I'll watch it. I'll try to find some way to watch it. I'm not sure. Let me see. Let me try to see if they're telling us here how we can watch this. Adi said, what is it right here? Streaming now on Tubi TV.
Dude, Adi's throwing more punches than Broner right now. The thing with Broner, Gio, is he had what a lot of fighters don't have nowadays, which is that charisma, that funny factor. Like one of those things that you can't kind of teach. Like he had it, and he has skills. He was a very skilled fighter. It looked like the hype just got to him a little bit. Like like you mentioned earlier, he turned down that 40 million for 5 years, if I'm not mistaken, Gio. 8 million a year. Of course, when you're hyping yourself up that much, 8 million doesn't sound so nice, but maybe that was the best choice for him to take looking back now. But yeah, man, AB, one last shot against a name like Blair, who's right there in the 20 welterweights. So hey, we'll see what happens, but I'm not favoring the 34-year-old.
It says here Triller pay-per-view, $20 on Triller. Okay. If you guys are looking to purchase the fight, Triller pay-per-view TV in the US. Adi says Adrian Broner is going to be hungrier because his broke ass hasn't ate in a while.
Was it a mistake, Gio, to walk away from 40 million?
Yeah, I think hindsight, of course. Obviously he was trying to bet on himself, but I think he knows himself better than anybody else. I mean, the indiscipline, I feel like always showed throughout his career. I know a lot of people always said, "Oh man, this guy was one of the most talented. Waste of talent. Didn't reach his potential." I never saw AB as that dude. I mean, I remember watching him fight on the undercards. I never thought he was that good. I think he's massively overrated. especially, since he tried to attach his name to Mayweather and they were saying he's going to be the next one up. He was never that guy. He was never number one in any division, and even in his prime. So I'm not sure where people get this stuff from. I don't know if it's just like people talking or people listening to Mayweather, but AB was never that dude. Let's keep it real. But let's see what happens. I'm rooting for our guy Blair, and that's all I got. I don't want to spend too much time on AB. On God.
Okay, final question, Gio. How shocked would you be if AB pulled it off?
I wouldn't be shocked. I wouldn't be shocked, but I don't think he wins. Did you drop your prediction? Are you rolling with Blair as well?
Yeah, I'm rolling with Blair.
I'm gonna make
I want to say a decision because AB is tough. AB is tough. That's something I will give him credit for. I don't think we've ever seen him knocked out. I might be wrong, Gio, but I don't remember. Obviously, we've seen him take a beating, but he doesn't have any quit. He's got a ton of heart, the way you said Wilder does. But AB got heart, and he doesn't. He takes a beating, but he doesn't fold. So I'm gonna say Blair by decision.
Okay, I agree. But let's go ahead and keep it moving. Let's see what else we have here. Usyk versus Fury rematch, Chris. We were talking heavyweight division. We didn't get to discuss the fight, the actual outcome of the first one, and we already have an announcement for the next one, December 21. Big Turk wasting no time. He's announcing the next fight in Saudi Arabia. Give me your thoughts on the first fight and now the rematch.
Dude, the first fight, amazing fight, classic fight. I feel like it doesn't get the love it deserves. It pinned the two best heavyweights. Usyk is just a amazing fighter for his size. Just amazing what he's done in those two divisions. And yeah, man, I'm excited for that rematch. Yeah, I feel like we could spend an hour on these two guys, but I'm super excited for this rematch. Tyson Fury, obviously, brave giant. Weird to say that, but to get back in it right away after that ninth round, I'm excited.
All right. Yeah, as we said, we didn't get a chance to talk about the first fight. I was actually in the UK. I watched the fight in Liverpool. A lot of excitement around the fight. There was a ton of watch parties at different pubs and all that. The fight over there was around 11 p.m., I'd say. It's interesting because, you hear the rumors, people don't really care about Tyson Fury like that in the UK. They're true. I think people were just there for a good fight. Fury doesn't get the backing that other guys do, like Anthony Joshua and a lot of the other British fighters. But yeah, great fight. I think the ultimate deciding factor was that knockdown. The scorecards were close. One judge had Fury up, I believe. Two had Usyk up. So that knockdown doesn't happen. Fury probably walks away with the victory. It was a close one. You heard his post-fight speech, so not surprised that they're gonna run it back right away. Not surprised either because Turkey Al-Sheikh is involved. We know he makes things happen. So December 21, we're gonna get it again, undisputed. It's gonna be a great fight. To me, it was a 50-50 fight. Could have gone either way. So I think the second one might be even better, because both men know each other now. They know how much they can risk, going forward. So can't wait for another big undisputed fight, and I'm happy that both men will get that big payday once again.
And Gio, I know that you said that this fight was 50-50, could have gone either way. In hindsight, how did you score it? Did you feel like the rightful winner got the nod? Did you feel like it could have gone Fury's way? How did you score it?
I didn't score it live, but I thought it was even. I thought there was a possibility of a draw. Obviously, that knockdown kind of canceled that out. When they were reading the scorecards, yeah, I didn't know which way it was gonna go. So I think it could have gone either way. I probably had it 6-6, but as I said, the knockdown was the deciding factor. I think Fury banked a lot of those middle rounds. He even seemed to put Usyk in trouble. He seemed at times that he was landing at will, sometimes literally slapping Usyk, right? He was able to land those uppercuts. And then Usyk caught his second win once he was able to hurt Fury. I think it was like round 7 where he busted Fury's nose. I think that's when everything changed. But yeah, to me, it could have gone either way. So listening to the scorecards, I think everybody was at the edge of their seats, just kind of waiting because we didn't know, who was going to be the winner, who was going to get their hand raised. But yeah, like I said, I think it was a close fight. So rightfully so, I think they had to run it back.
When you saw Usyk hurt Fury, what was going on in your thoughts? Were you shocked by that? Were you impressed by that? Did you feel that he could have gone that knockdown? Do you feel the ref gave Fury a little too much time? What were your thoughts on that round?
I couldn't believe Usyk hurt him. I couldn't believe Usyk hurt him because, he's never really showed that type of power. But then again, it seems like we've seen Fury hurt against all his opponents. So yeah, that was very, very shocking to see Fury hurt like that, bouncing all over the ring, looking like Amir Khan. Shout out to Amir, man, catching straight bullets. But friend of the show, Amir Khan. But yeah, I was shocked. I couldn't believe that he was that hurt. But I know you're a big Usyk guy. After 12 rounds, how did you have the fight? Were you a bit nervous? Because those, like I said, those scorecards were close, and one of the judges had Fury, 2 of the judges had Usyk, so it was close.
I was nervous up until Usyk hurt him. I felt like the first 2 rounds they were pretty competitive. I had it split 1-1, but then I saw Tyson Fury just go back to his boxing, and even though Usyk is ultra skilled, ultra talented, I just felt he was having trouble getting to the bigger man. And even though I felt Tyson was like one level on the boxing scheme below Usyk, he was just using his long arms, his thighs. He was just doing what he had to do to win. And I felt like he was bagging so many rounds. I feel like there was a moment, if you're an Usyk fan, there was a moment in that fight where you're like, oh man, I think Usyk he's just too small. He bit off more than he can chew. Tyson Fury is just going to cruise to a decision. And when I saw that, that round where Usyk hurt him, man, I was like, wow, look at this guy taking it to the giant. And, we respect both these guys, Gio. These are the 2 best heavyweights, in our opinion, in the last 10, 15 years. So to see that, you almost felt like Usyk, separated himself just a bit. So when it came down to the scorecards, I would have been okay with the draw. And if they had to pick a winner, it had to be Usyk. But again, I was well aware that, in my opinion, Tyson Fury put up a lot of rounds away, 3-7. So again, can't wait for this rematch, Gio. Like you said, I think Tyson Fury comes back, better in rematches. I think he will look back at the tape and see those rounds where he was outboxing Usyk, and he knows he cannot get caught again with those combinations by the Ukrainian.
Yeah, like you said, I think there was some concern if you were a Usyk fan. I thought he was going to get stopped, man, when Fury got it going. It seemed like he was just too small for Fury, but like I said, once he caught him and busted his nose, I think it was 7th round, and everything changed, right? And Fury got a little more timid. I didn't like that he was showboating a lot. When he was winning those rounds, it's like, that Mamba mentality. Job's not finished. And I think at the end that came back to bite him in the behind. But yeah, December 21st rematch. We're gonna get it again. It's exciting. Last year was great for boxing. This year we're halfway through the year already. We're still waiting to see those big fights. We're gonna get Gallo Estrada versus Bam Rodriguez this month, June 29th at the end of the month. We're still gonna get that one. We're still getting Beterbiev, Bivol. We're getting the rematch, Usyk Fury. You know, Canelo. We'll see who he fights September. So we're getting good fights out here, man. And you know, I like those December matchups, Chris. The end of the year to cap off the 2024. You know, we'll get Fury and Usyk once again.
Yeah, and I gotta add, you. I think both Tyson Fury and Anthony Joshua had moments in those fights against Usyk where they both hurt him. Like you said, I think obviously once you mix it up with the technician like Usyk, once you get hurt, you get timid. And we saw Joshua get timid in those two fights. We saw Tyson Fury get timid in those fights. It's when you take it to a guy like Usyk, where, in my opinion, you kind of take a gamble, but that's where you have your most success. So all these guys have more than enough to hurt each other. I think Tyson Fury's going to have to, roll the dice and take a chance. But he definitely does. He's big enough to hurt Usyk. And again, I can't wait for this rematch. I feel Tyson Fury is going to prepare like he's never prepared before.
Yeah, and that's that. Exciting news. We're getting 2 undisputed matchups. Fury, Usyk. Beterbiev, Bivol. And let's continue on with the schedule for the month of June. Because Adi says... Yeah, go ahead. Make it quick. Man.
I know everybody's going to be wondering. Post this fight, what is your top 3? Has it changed?
Pound for pound?
Yeah. Top 3. Only 3.
Yeah, I think you got to put Usyk number 1 now. You got to put Usyk. Obviously, it's going to depend on what happens in the rematch, but it seems like it keeps changing, right? But the heavyweight division, even though for me, I just never understood why heavyweights don't get any love in today's pound for pound lists. It's a division. I don't know why people act like it doesn't exist. You know, just like Fury wasn't getting any credit. I just think it just comes down to how likable people are. But Usyk is very likable, so everyone's gonna put him as number 1. I think you have to. Because to me, Fury was probably like top 6, 7 pound for pound. So Usyk just defeated him, undisputed at heavyweight, probably the toughest division. So I think for now he's number 1. Inoue, number 2. He was my previous number 1, and number 3. I already forgot who was my number 3.
No love. Yeah, no, I agree with your list. Usyk, after what he did to Fury in a very competitive match and had him hurt, could have been a knockout, and that would have definitely cemented that number 1 spot. But did just enough to win that fight, become undisputed, lineal ring champion of the world at heavyweight. So number 1 for Usyk, 2 for Inoue, and 3 for Terence Crawford. Again, in any other world, any other time, Inoue could have easily been number 1, but yeah, he's around the same time as a guy like Usyk. So again, can't wait to see that rematch, Gio. He's gonna have to win to keep his number 1 spot, because Inoue, it seems like it's a matter of time before he clears out other divisions, even being a small guy. So yeah, man, it's a great time for boxing.
I still got Canelo at number 3. Crawford, I still haven't heard a good argument for Crawford being anywhere near the top pound for pound. I don't think I've had him near my top pound for pound in the last 10 years. And somehow, some way, people still want to put his name up there. Who's he fighting next, Chris?
Hey, Adrimov, guy out of India, formidable guy. I don't think he's at the level of Terence Crawford.
Yeah.
But speaking of Terence Crawford, Gio, and since I know
terrible. I don't know how.
Like our boy Turkey, what are your thoughts on Turkey saying that he's trying to put the Canelo versus Terence Crawford fight together? Sounds more like a fantasy fight, but what are your thoughts on him trying to put that together for the fans?
Yeah, it's definitely a personal choice for him. Crawford might retire after that fight. I mean, it's not even close. But don't try to skip over the fact that Crawford's fighting another nobody again, Chris. I gave Bivol crap for it. He just fought a nobody. Crawford does it again. Well, I don't know, man. I'm so confused by boxing fans and their logic, but yeah, no, Crawford gets knocked out. It's not even a close fight.
Yeah, for me, obviously, I feel like Usyk and Inoue have done so much the last couple, years, and against big names. I do got to give, Terrence credit for that last fight with that big name, but he needs another huge name in or around Errol Spence's, weight, in terms of name for him to move up. So he I don't think even anybody at 154 will convince me to get him at number one. But if he were to somehow reel in a huge fish like Canelo and beat him, that's the only way, in my opinion, he moves up to that number one spot. But as of right now, Usyk and Inoue they've been doing too much, man.
Yeah, it's funny too, cause Canelo already said he doesn't want to fight him because he's too small. So
Yeah.
I'm not sure why Turkey keeps insisting, but if he's able to convince Canelo, that's gonna be the easiest payday. Easy payday, man.
That's upwards. I know they flirt with that 200 million, but at least 100 minimum for that fight. I don't see Canelo taking anything less than that. For like a fight that he said that there's nothing for me to win, everything for me to lose. I think Canelo knows that there's some skill there in Terrence Crawford, but I am convinced that he knows he can beat him, but he's not gonna risk everything he's done, for pennies on the dollar. So in my opinion, 100 million minimum for Canelo to even consider that fight.
Gambo will hurt Crawford, Chris. Man. I don't even think the sanctioning body should allow welterweight to fight Canelo. That's crazy. But anyway, let's keep it moving. June schedule. AB Blair Cobbs, you see it there. June 7th, Florida. Not much on the undercard. Zayas fighting Patrick Tejeda. That's a good one. Good test for Xander Zayas, now headlining Bruce Carrington on that undercard. What else do we have? Surreal Matias against Liam Paro, Puerto Rico. You're going, right, Chris? Are you still going?
That's the plan, man. That's the plan. We'll find a way to get ourselves out there. But yeah, we got tickets for that fight. Hopefully
June 15th, the zone.
Stuff out there, man. Hopefully we'll run into some legends, man. It'd be a dream to run into somebody like Felix Tito Trinidad, Miguel Cotto. I don't know,
trying to keep it
into
Chris.
What a dream, man.
Let's keep it moving here. The zone, Puerto Rico, June 15th. Liam's getting knocked out, man. Let me tell you that. You just simply don't go to the distance with Surreal Matias. Probably the biggest puncher right now in boxing. Also the same day, Las Vegas, Amazon Prime Video. If you pay for this, man, hey, shout out to you. You're a big boxing fan, but these fights are all probably going to end in knockouts. Gervonta Davis, Frank Martin, Benavidez fighting Vosdik. Yeah, that's right. I said Vosdik. Another one, Chris. These guys get a lot of passes for taking easy fights. Another easy fights for Benavidez. Gary Anton Russell, Alberto Puello, Carlos Adames against Terrell Gaucher. So one-sided fights once again for PBC. Are you interested at all in that fight, Chris? Or those fights?
Or the Vosdik Benavidez?
Let's start with Gervonta.
That one's interesting. I feel like Martin's. I think he's got a chance. Obviously, Gervonta's got that power, that equalizer, but yeah, I'm interested to see that one.
Knockout, easy knockout. Just like Benavidez. Yeah, go ahead.
For Benavidez Vosdik, I agree with you. Vosdik is not. He's not what he once was. He's lost a lot with the inactivity, but he's still a name, and I think he'll give Benavidez, a couple good rounds in the beginning. But I think Benavidez is too big, too fast, too strong.
All right, we'll see how many. Is that pay-per-view? No, huh? It doesn't seem like it's pay-per-view. Oh, they would have sold 100 pay-per-views, Chris. All right, let's see. Let's move on. What else do we have here? Nothing interesting there. Teofimo Lopez against I don't know who, but Teofimo's fighting another one. These guys are gonna keep dropping on those lists, man. Keep fighting a bunch of nobodies. Robesi Ramirez is also on there. That's June 29th, Miami, ESPN, ESPN Plus. Nico Ali Walsh is on there. And then this is the big one right here. June 29th, Glendale, Arizona, DAZN. Juan Francisco Estrada against Jesse Bam Rodriguez. This is a pound for pound fight here, Chris.
Yeah, that's one of those fights that keeps you in the pound for pound discussion and moves you up, depending on what you do in that fight. But yeah, it's a passing of the torch, in my opinion, kind of fight. But he's gonna have to earn it. Bam is one of the most skilled, well-rounded fighters, disciplined, humble kids. One of those fighters that nobody can hate, and he's up against maybe the biggest test of his career. So I know you're gonna try to be out there, Gio. We'll see if I can make it out there. But yeah, man, I'm excited for that fight. Passing of the torch kind of fight, in my opinion.
Yeah, Sonny Edwards against Adrian Curiel on the undercard too. Not bad. And then let's just this came up here, so I'll just mention it. Talking about fighting nobodies. Shakur Stevenson against Artem Harutyunyan. I don't even know these names, Chris, man. This is crazy, man. Somebody link these guys up with Turkey, man. He'll get you a real fight.
Yeah, no, again, it's not too many people want to fight Shakur, man. Again, they know that he's a skilled guy, but he doesn't give an action-packed fight. He probably throws less punches than Adrian Broner, in my opinion. But yeah, man, Shakur ultra skill, just no volume, man. And again, you want to be a superstar, you want to call out all these guys on Twitter, you're gonna have to throw these hands, because if you're just moving, running, it's not gonna get the job done.
Yeah, and let me this talk about this interesting fight. I want to mention it. Murataya versus Farmer was announced. Chris Farmer. I think good test for Murataya. I think he should be able to win that one. One of the top guys at 135. But this is a good test for him. I think this is a good name on his resume.
Yeah, again, it's probably the biggest name that he can add on his resume thus far. Former champion. Definitely a guy that thinks that Murataya is maybe too green. Maybe he feels like this is a chance for him to get back in the mix. But yeah, I see Murataya maybe stopping him. I don't want to, overstate this, but Murataya is just that talented. Again, he's one of those kids that doesn't care about anything on social media. White kid, always grinding, and again, his work is speaking for itself.
Yeah, 100%. So looking forward to that one. We'll have the specific date for that one next time. We'll be back next week. We got some action, like we said, this weekend. So stay tuned. We'll be back. Hope you guys enjoyed the show. Chris, any last thoughts before we get out of here?
No, just thanks to everybody for tuning in and dropping your comments, man. You guys make us laugh every time we get on here. Thank you for your patience. We've been out for a couple of weeks, but man, this is where we want to be. Talk boxing with like-minded boxing heads. So shout out to you guys.
Yeah, and look, before we get out of here too, I forgot Catterall versus Josh Taylor.
Yeah,
Catterall, I would say convincing win against Taylor, even though Bob Arum thought Josh Taylor won. I was there in attendance in Leeds. Crazy atmosphere. Half of the arena was English. Half of the arena was Scottish. I was sitting on the Scottish side, so everybody around there thought Josh Taylor won. But as I watched the replay, it looked more clear on TV. Live. I thought it was close, but yeah. Once I watched the replay, like I said, to me, clear Catterall win. We'll see if they run it back. But it seems like Catterall is going to get a big fight there at 140.
Yeah, the sentiments that I heard was that a lot of people thought Taylor won in what I heard on Twitter sphere, and obviously they gave it to Catterall, and then the first fight, a lot of people thought Catterall won, and they gave it to Taylor. So I kept hearing a lot of this whole divine justice, but I think a third match is warranted if it's that kind of fight. So yeah, we'll see. But I feel like Josh Taylor is best. It's behind him. He's still a good fighter. but it's not the same Taylor that unified.
Yeah, he has slowed down a lot, Josh Taylor, to say the least. So we'll see what happens with that. And yeah, that's that, man. Big shout out to Big Bang, Zhang. And as I said, we'll be back soon to break it all down. June is gonna be hot. A lot of action. Obviously, the headliner, quote unquote, the main event, El Gallo Estrada versus Bam Rodriguez. Things are heating up there. I've been watching some interviews by Bam. Chocolatito was there at the RGBA, sparring with Bam, possibly giving him some advice, for that fight. Obviously, we know he fought Gallo 3 times. There's a great rivalry there. And, a lot of people are saying, hey, this might be the passing of the torch, but we'll see how much El Gallo still has left in that tank.
Yeah. And Gio, I know that this is a boxing show, but I mean, obviously, we grew up playing football. You had a chance to go see the team of your dreams, your favorite team. How would you describe your trip in one word, dog?
One word? Can I say 2 words?
Dale.
Very few.
Oh,
Very few. Yeah, man, definitely I would recommend any sporting event. As I said, the boxing fight was great out there too. Fans just singing, chanting 24/7. It's a different atmosphere. It almost seems like a different sport. We know that out here, American fans, I don't want to call them boring, but you go to an event, they're all just sitting there, just drinking, eating. There's a lot different. So I would definitely recommend it. Any sporting event overseas.
And of course, like you said, you were in there with Catterall, Taylor fight. Did you guys see any winkers out there?
Did we see any winkers out there? I'm gonna say I'm gonna say no, because I was very scared. I just sat down, watched the fight, didn't say a word. It was getting rowdy in there. As I said, Scotland versus England. So yeah, it was loud in there, packed. A lot of drinking by the fans, a lot of yelling, a lot of singing, a lot of chanting. It was fun.
It almost reminds me of that time that me and Big Bro went to see the Maravilla fight against Chavez Jr. Obviously, we were surrounded by nothing but Chavez Jr. fans, the only Mexicans in that building rooting for Maravilla, but we had to keep it quiet or else we were going to get jumped. But yeah, man, obviously, it's a great experience being, in an atmosphere where they love boxing. So shout out to you guys. Shout out to the UK fans that are tuning in.
Yes, sir.
And that dropped their comments in all those UK videos, man.
Let's go, mate. And shout out to Mad Dog Chicken In. He says Wilder has more bums in his resume than P. Diddy. Oh, man. There you go. Mad Dog swinging. Something Wilder didn't do in that fight, huh? Mad Dog came out swinging. Haymakers.
Mad Dog took his punch, dog. It's a one-hitter quitter right there.
All right. And that's that, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you, mates. We'll be back soon.
Usyk.
Very few. Let's go, mates. Peace.
It's okay, Eddie. Earn with Hearns, man. Earn with Hearns.
5-0.
Hola amigos, soy Juan Francisco Gallo Estrada. Quiero mandar un saludo para mis amigos de Contra las Cuerdas. Échenle muchas ganas. Un abrazo, muchas bendiciones.
Shout out to Against the Ropes. You know what mine is? Let's box, bitches. It's almost fight night.
Shout out to Against the Ropes. Thank you for the support. Keep doing your thing. You're doing a great job. So thank you and best wishes.
Huge shout out to Against the Ropes.
Shout out to Against the Ropes. Thank you guys for the interview, and hope to see you guys soon.
Against the Ropes, always doing the right thing.
Shout out to Against the Ropes, man. I appreciate you guys for having me, taking the time on y'all day.
Against the Ropes, #1.
Freddie Roach.
Thank you very much.